Okay, so in this video, we're going to start using our calculator to use right triangle trig to find missing side lengths or an angle measurement. That'll be in a subsequent video. But first, what we want to do is at this moment in time, there are two different ways that we can look at angles. We can look at them in degrees or what's called radians. Radians is based on pi. And so we're going to do that later on in the chapter. So what we want to do is make sure that our calculator is in degrees. If it is not, then when degrees are given, we should be in degree mode. If radians are given, we should be in radian mode. If we aren't in the right mode, we get the wrong answer. So probably important to make sure you're in the right mode. So let's do that first. And look at this. It says mode. Pretty easy to spot. So I click that. Depending on the software you have, it might look a little different, but notice here, if I look 3 down, I'm going to see radian. You might see like an RAD or a DEG, depending on the calculator you have. But what we want to do is we want to arrow down, go to degree, and then select enter. Now that it's highlighted, I'm in degree mode. So I can go ahead and hit second quit. I'm in degrees. I am good to go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and skip this one. We already did it. And we're going to use trig ratios, and we're going to set up equations to find the missing sides and solve. We want to leave the answer in decimal form. Okay, so now how would I find this information? Now I'm going to do a separate screencast of setting all the different things up and looking at the ratios to find missing pieces. But ultimately, one that I can do quickly is I know, let me do a real quick text box here, and I can start typing some up. I know that sine of 41 degrees, not 14, of 41 degrees is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So the opposite is y, so that'd be y, and the hypotenuse is 12.1, so I'm going to divide that by 12.1. And we go ahead and cross multiply, and I'll do this same example in the video where I can actually write down rather than type so you can see it, but I want you to walk through how to do it on the calculator first. So we're just going to multiply sine of 41 times 12.1. That's going to give us side y. So in order to do that, you'll notice second row above all the numbers, you have sine, cosine, and tangent. Now, a couple things to consider is this little guy above it, the sine raised to the -1. That's not cosecant. That is the inverse of sine. We'll talk about what that's used for in a later video. But I know that sine of the angle, which is 41 degrees, I don't have to do anything else. I want to close the parentheses. If I don't close the parentheses, when I multiply it by 12.1, it's going to cause issues. And I hit enter, and that tells me that the side length is 7.9 units long. Okay, we're rounding the nearest tenth. Okay, and that's what I got to do. Now, if I did sine of 41 times 12.1 and hit enter, I get a completely different answer. So the top one is saying, hey, sine of the angle times, right, we're solving, we did cross multiplication. But this one, it's saying, well, I'm going to take my angle and multiply it by 12. No, I want to take sine of the angle and multiply it by 12. So this second one is incorrect. It's the top one. Okay, so that's how I can use the calculator. Be careful with the parentheses. And then the subsequent video, we're going to go through and solve the rest of this triangle.